All right, I gotta mute SpongeBob because we're doing Mindful Monday today.
We did it.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
All right, chat.
Use the Force, Luke.
That's George Turner. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. So let me pull my questions up.
Luke, trust me.
This is everybody. This is Erika, reclaimed TBI Wives. She does a lot for the TBI aid community. I'll kind of let you tell your story a little bit,
Sure.
if you will.
Sure. So, my name's Erica. I'm a wife, a mom, a podcaster, a content creator, a speaker, all of the things. Um, but 5 years ago, I was a few of those things: a wife, a mom, an entrepreneur. And then my husband was in a car accident in October of 2020, and he suffered a severe traumatic brain injury. And uh, life was really hard. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. He was the breadwinner. And I had to make the decision of whether to keep him alive or let him go a couple of times. Um, and we had a lot of hospital stays, came home, um, and trying to still be a wife, care for him, and raise our three young boys. We have four boys, but three of them were at home, and they were 2, 4, and 10 at the time of his accident. And life got really isolating. And I know that TBI survivors totally get that isolation. It also happens to us caregivers. We feel like nobody else gets it, nobody understands what we're going through.
Right.
Um, and I just recognized that I didn't want to be in that place. I've always been a people person, the party planner, all of that stuff. And I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want to lose my relationships. And so I didn't know what I was going to do with that. I sat in the loneliness and the isolation for a long time.
Right.
And then I was going through some coaching and learned about podcasting, and I started a podcast. And through that, I recognized that a lot of women need community, and especially TBI wives, especially caregiver wives. Because their identity is in their husband's brain injury. And so I created a virtual community for those wives where we're able to support each other and help us reclaim our identity outside of caregiver.
And that is absolutely amazing because, like, I don't know if you've seen, but I've done a few interviews and let people kind of share their stories with TBI and TBI awareness stuff. And we haven't really got to see the caregiver end of it. So I've kind of been a little bit excited to do this side of it.
Thanks.
So, I'll ask, I guess we'll start off with this. During your time as a caregiver, um, what are some of the emotional challenges you've had to go through? I know it can't be easy caring for someone with TBI and having to care for yourself and your family at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, totally lost my partner,
Right.
whether it's the person that I went to concerts with, that we don't even share the same bed anymore,
Right.
like intimate partner, all of those things just like gone.
Right.
Um, and I had to take on the moneymaker, the decision maker, the advocate. We also have a son with special needs. And so advocating for him, advocating for my husband, um, fighting the medical stuff, that was a big emotional toll for me. I was like,
Right.
why don't you just get it? Like, this person is a person and needs help. Why are you telling them no?
Right.
You know?
And I know,
Um,
I've been told, at least, depending on where what state you live in, and what your situation is, they don't necessarily always offer a lot of aid to
Yeah,
caregivers to begin with. So I know that's kind of
absolutely.
something that can be difficult. Um, so given that, what would you say are some of the unforeseen challenges you've had to you know
S-
had come up against?
Yeah, so we're in the state of Colorado, and honestly, they, after talking with all of these people, now that I've, become a community, um, Colorado is very helpful. They offer a lot of services, but you have to fight for them, and you have to know that they're there.
Right,
And so, um, my husband is not. They say every TBI is different,
right,
but my husband is not like you or Lolly or Rob
right.
or Luke.
Yeah,
He is actually in a wheelchair. He's G tube fed. He's nonverbal. So completely a different person.
right. So what
And
level three is what they call level two or level three?
probably a three.
Okay,
Yeah. Um, he has full function of his left side, but not his right. Um, he can communicate with his shake his head yes and no,
right.
but before it was just a thumbs up and thumbs down. And so I've really had to become his voice.
Yeah,
um and just understanding the the medical field as a big bubble, right?
right,
He was in inpatient at Craig Hospital, and then we left and we got a little bit of home health, and then they were really quick to discharge. And as his wife and his caregiver, I'm like, oh, he needs, like, he's still in a wheelchair. Like, we have room to grow.
right,
And so understanding their ins and outs and how they discharge, and okay, we don't do home health, now we have to go look for an outpatient, or now we have to go look for mobile or whatever.
right.
Just that was a big challenge for me. It was learning all of those ins and outs of, okay, they said no, now I got to go figure out what the next modality is that we're going to use.
And on I guess in the same vein of things, what as far as it goes, is there any kind of support system as far as as emotional aspects? I can't imagine that it's easy to adjust as far as the mental side of
Yeah.
things for it. So,
Yeah.
are there any kind of structures set up for the caregiver side for
So
for
there's a
that?
lot of help for y'all, right?
Right,
As a TBI survivor, let's make sure they have a therapist. Let's make sure that they have OT and PT and speech, and let's make sure they have a neuropsych and all of the things. But there's not a lot for us, the caregivers, and there's also not a lot of energy for us to do so.
right,
Um, we our worlds have been turned upside down just the same as a survivor, and we're trying to keep them alive.
yeah,
So trying to find a way to get support yourself gets put on the back burner.
right.
And that's where I was about a year ago, and that's when I started doing the podcast, because I knew, I was like, there's got to be something better.
Right. Which is
um
kind of wild to think because even nurses and doctors have to go through regular kind of psych checkups, especially if they're
yeah.
dealing with someone in like a high risk situation, patients in a high risk situation, because that's a strong toll on your mental health.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so that they wouldn't
Absolutely.
offer that is kind of, it feels like an oversight.
Well, yeah. I mean, how are you taking care of yourself?
Right.
That's the question asked, right? Not like, okay, here's a list of therapists that you should probably reach out to. No, not a lot. I did have to, search for a therapist. I interviewed quite a few, and
Right.
it just wasn't my jam. I didn't want to sit across from someone on a couch that I was like, they're not my bestie, but I got to talk to them like they're my bestie.
Yeah, you kind of have
And
to. You're forced to kind of learn to do it yourself. It seems like.
Well, that's why I created my community.
Yeah.
So that it's women that actually get it. They're in my shoes. They're in similar situations, and we get to have real talk. We get to have the hard conversations that people actually get. So I didn't find it, so I created it.
Yeah, and I absolutely respect that because, and you kind of just answered the next question for me. I was going to ask what kind of started you down the path to starting helping other, you know, TPI caregivers, and that's, I like that. You kind of didn't find the support out there that suited your needs, so you made it, is kind of what it sounds like. Which, you know, you, as much as it sounds weird, but it sounds like not just in on the TBI survivor end, but on the caregiver side, there's that same kind of fight and
Mhm.
stick to itiveness, inventiveness that if 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 I can't find it, I'm gonna figure it out for myself, because you have to.
Well, either that or you sit in that victim mentality. Like, this was done to me. This has happened to me. Poor me. I'm just going to sit in this and wallow. And that's no place to be.
Right,
I mean, yes, have your pissy fit, whatever. But
right,
like, I can't teach my kids that. I can't tell them to sit and be a victim the rest of
right,
their lives. Like, we're gonna become victors, and we're gonna come out of this bigger and better. There's a reason God put us in this situation. We don't know why. We might not know why until we get to the other side, but um, I know that I was meant for more than to be a victim of my husband's brain injury. So
right.